So there's two ways of doing a retweet now. This is the new school version, and it's the one I like the least, and I'll tell you why. And it's from a marketing perspective. So what happens here is, right now, this person is retweeting this person's message. Vincent Clark said, oh sorry, no, I'm wrong. This person's tweeting, and this person is retweeted. So if I'm following this person, I'll see this message appear, and I'm like, I'm not following this person, why is it appearing? Oh, they're retweeting this message. The reason I don't like it is because when you're actually looking at Twitter, there's a section where you see who's retweeted you, and you can't see that someone's retweeted you, or who's retweeted you, like in your regular mentions. Like you can't just go to mentions and the column where you'll see all the ads, and go, oh, that person's been talking about me. You have to go to a separate section. So sometimes people don't check that section, and you kind of miss an opportunity. So there's an old school version that you can set up, or you can just copy and paste stuff. You can, when I say set up, by the way, if you're using something like Hootsuite, there's a way to set up the old school or the new school version you can choose. In another case, you can just copy content and make sure to put who's retweeting it. I'll give you an example. So, here's the original message. This is Vincent Clark, the message you saw before, save the date, you won't want to miss this because you know just how good our sales are, the sale will be A Beautiful Life is retweeting it, and in this case she just takes the whole content of what this person said and puts an RT in front of it. And basically saying, this is what the person's saying, I approve of this message, I like this message, I think it's cool. What's great obviously is if you have enough characters, or you can abbreviate their message enough so it doesn't change the content, you can say what you think about it. Oh, I love this store, you know, or that sounds like an amazing sale, or whatever it is that you're trying to say. You can actually plug in your message but briefly. You can just say, cool, exclamation mark. That's when you end up sounding like a valley girl on Twitter, but you only have so many characters, so you can't really help it.
Can I ask a question about that? So where would you put in the message at the beginning?
In the beginning, or you know what, actually it depends. You can, the standard is to put it in the beginning, but sometimes you can always like put a forward slash after the message.
How do you distinguish? Like, that's how you distinguish?
Yeah, like an arrow or something, yeah. Just make sure that there's some sort of differentiation between the content what you're writing.
Yeah.
Okay. But standardly you can also write.
Just a quick check-in. It's all making sense so far?
Is it? Oh, okay. Excellent. Sorry, yep. Give a thumbs up. Oh, I like the thumbs up. That is awesome. So basically, you know, the old commercial, was, if you tell two friends and they tell two friends, that's really what retweeting is. You're just propagating a message somebody else is saying. You're saying, I approve, or, you know, and actually it's not always I approve. Sometimes, by the way, people say, oh, I totally don't agree, are you insane? But, you know, at least then you're telling people, hey, that's what I'm disapproving of. At least you're telling people what they can look out for. All right, so simple reply. Here's the person replying to that message. I'm there, right? And you can find out, you know, you can kind of click onto these things. Sometimes you'll click here or different tools, different platforms like Hootsuite or TweetDeck or whatever. You can click onto something and find out, oh, what are they replying to? But it makes it more difficult to figure out. So that's why when people sometimes people will retweet the message so you can see what they're talking about. So you don't have to go through other steps to find out who they're responding to.
Remember, navigation is the most difficult part on Twitter.
All right, so where are we here? So direct message, okay. So I want to write a message to somebody, there's a section, and it'll be, see the platform, it'll be like your messages. It's now called messages on Twitter. You'll click on messages, and it'll say, you know, and you can just type in a message. Now what you do is you write D, and then the person's username, and you do not put an @ and you do not write DM even though it's direct message. And the reason you don't do that is because then it goes out to everyone. And if it's a private message, you don't want that to happen. The other thing to keep in mind is don't say things that are really negative. You don't want people to pass around just in case it does go out to the world. And it's bad to gossip. So no @ and no @ when you're doing the message. All right. So that's where it is. There's the navigation. You're going to see on the top, it's going to say messages, and then it's going to open up. So the last few people you click on, oh, okay, right, I usually send back messages or whatever. But again, if you want to tweet to somebody that you know, are not always tweeting to, you just go with D, and it'll bring up the person's name once you type it. It'll bring up, like, it'll attach, sorry. What am I saying? will make sense. When you're actually typing it in, then you'll actually be able to say, okay, that's going to that person. So it won't automatically send it back if you just press it, if you put it in.
About 2 more minutes.
Okay, let's
get to the interactive portion.
Okay, hashtags. You want to realize hashtags. You can do this for a whole number of things. It can be for a topic. If in this case there was an event, when people like the one we're at now, people want to keep track of what's happening. So you might want to create one if you're having an event, or if there's a particular thing you want people to associate with your event, so that that tag will have some sort of association. And when people look at things or click on that, they'll be that specific topic. It'll narrow down that scope. It's kind of like a search function. Now, lists is what she talked about earlier, and so basically you can create your own list. In this case, it's a neighborhood, and it's created by Yaletown. It's businesses, services. You can create lists for anything. If you like following funny people, and sometimes you just want to check in on what the funny people are doing, you'll create a list for that. And you can also subscribe to other people's lists. So when people have created a list, you can follow their list too. Click on that. So basically, it can be really, really useful for kind of curating, because there's a lot of information, a lot of people to follow. All right, where are we going quickly? Oh, hey, we're close to the end. So wine-related posts. If you're interested in film and social media, we dug up some posts and some things we've already written, and you can find it on this link. It's our delicious Twitter parlor thing. So, yes.
Okay, so into the interactive portion. Are you ready for it? Awesome. Who here is a filmmaker? Some filmmakers? Excellent. I bet you're having, first question on your mind, I bet, is how am I going to communicate? How am I going to get a message out to the world? I'd like a volunteer to give me a phrase. And what we're going to do is we're going to recreate that phrase so that it's ready to put out on Twitter. And we're going to use the symbols that we're aware of, the @ sign for a mention. We might use a retweet. We might use a hashtag. Who would like to volunteer first? Can I volunteer one of my lists from the downtown area? Come on up. Or actually, you can do it from where you are. It's fine. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Tell me something that you would like the world to know about your film.
It's coming out in December 2012.
Coming out in December 2012. Okay. We're going to create a tweet around that. We're going to structure it properly. How would you like to start? I've got a hashtag you might be able to use. Are you going to say it to someone in a little quiet whisper? Are you going to direct it to somebody? Maybe someone will be able to retweet it for you. I'm going to give these options. You're going to punctuate it. Okay. Please state your message for us on Twitter. We're listening.
The film's coming out in December 2012.
Hashtag.
Film's coming out December 2012.
Okay, so let's restructure that. Did you want to help with the restructuring of the film is coming out on December?
Release date December.
Release date December 2012. Okay.
So I think we'd like you'd want to, even if you think everyone's already paid attention to your message before, mention what the film is about or what the sort of main thing is. Maybe there's a link to your film sort of within that component, and the hashtag, and you're not going to come up with it right away, but find something that's kind of catchy, and maybe also add any sort of topic that the movie centers on. If it's about fair trade coffee, maybe coffee or fair trade or those kind of things.
What is the film about?
Consumerism.
Consumerism. So could we say hashtag consumerism by chance?
That'd be
Would everybody here understand what that meant as the topic that maybe describes what the tweet will be? Yeah? Consumerism? Excellent. Let's direct it to someone. Let's use how are you going to direct that tweet? Who are you going to direct it to?
Sandra.
Excellent.
What's up?
Okay, thank you.
Tell me all about it.
Sounds perfect. Should we try one more? When's Buy Nothing Day? Is that around when your film's being released?
What's that?
When's Buy Nothing Day? Is that around when your film is being released?
No.
Oh, darn. That would be fun to connect it with the hashtag Buy Nothing.
We're at the 2-minute mark. Can we try one more example? Maybe one other volunteer? From this side, maybe? No? Who wants to play? Is there another film? Okay, excellent.
piece film, the entire photography,
World-
featuring Life magazine,
Okay, World Peace Film. So hashtag World Peace Film. What was the rest?
featuring photography
Featuring photography
of Life magazine.
of Life magazine. Okay, can anyone suggest a way that you might be able to make that more interesting on Twitter so more people will want to follow that conversation? Possibly by using, by using that. What might you might want to do? If
You could put at Life magazine if they've got a
at Life Magazine. So now anybody who's maybe following at Life Magazine will pay attention to your message.
You might want to put that within your actual content. And you might.
By doing that, anyone who's looking into Life magazine will get that.
The ads are people. So they are actual people on Twitter. Yes.
Sorry, if you say at Life magazine, people who follow the Life magazine are not going to.
That's right. Well, that's right.
It's
So
only
it has
if
to be
Life
within
magazine
it.
decides to retweet it.
Correct.
Life magazine will see it, and if they decide to retweet it.
That's right. If it's within the content of the message, then Life Magazine will see it as well. So like if you might want to just tweet and put it within the content message instead of in the front, because if you put it in the front, people that are watching Life Magazine and you are able to see it, but people who are not paying attention to both parties are not going to be able to see that message. So you don't want to direct it at somebody in the beginning of the message if you want other people to see it. You want to maybe have it.
I would suggest in this case, if you don't know anything about who you're doing it to, put at Life Magazine. And when at Life Magazine feels really good and warm and fuzzy because you mentioned them, it made them feel good, they will take the next step. And they will retweet your message to the thousands of individuals that are listening.
Let's hope.
And then
That's our
the
dream.
way to circulate it.
So, and if they don't, then effectively it's like a message sent to them.
Yes. They will see that message. They may not see it just without the ads.
Right, if you're directing it, at least they'll see it, yeah.
They'll see it.
But it's not a private message, it's just that if you put in the beginning people that are watching both you and them, if there's a sort of overlap.
Oh, you and them.
That's right.
Okay.
Then they'll see that message, right? Whereas if
Okay.
you put it in the middle somewhere, anywhere after the beginning, you know, after the first character, then everyone that's following you can see it, right? And then and they'll see it as long as you put that at there, Life Magazine. So there's like all sorts of little technical details that in 30 minutes are hard to explain.
Which comes into the second part. We are going to be starting the second portion, which is a slightly more advanced look at Twitter, giving you a few more tips and tricks on how to use the basic tools. Again, it's Stephanie Michelle Scott and
Monica Humphrey.
at the Twitter Parlor. We have full 4-hour workshops available as well. If you just hashtag Twitter Parlor, you'll be able to find some of them later.